Welcome to the Abbotsford Dialogues. We are back with a young man, a 22-year-old man. His name is Jack Sparey.
Yes.
That's how you pronounce
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Jack Sparey. He's come all the way from England and he's been in India for the past 40 days, traveling the Himalayan terrain from Nepal and now to India. Welcome to Abbotsford, Jack.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Great to
Uh,
be here. Thank you.
and I'm really, really intrigued by your pursuits in such an early age. Um, Tell me where you're coming from and what inspired you to sort of make this journey into India in the prime of your career when you should be studying.
Yeah. So I graduated last summer. I was studying accounting and finance in Cardiff University, and about 2 years in, I kind of realised this isn't what I see myself doing for the next 40 years. So I started to look elsewhere, and then needed some time post study to shop around and explore. So I decided some time out of Europe would probably be a good idea. I've travelled well in Europe, but this is my first time outside. So now I kind of planned some volunteering in Nepal, and then wanted to come here to explore my family history a bit more.
Tell me a bit about your family first. Where do you come from in England and
Yeah,
what
so
is the connect?
so I come from a city called Gloucester, quite a small city in southwest England, and this is where my grandmother settled many years ago when she left Nainital. So my mother was also born in England, so I guess she would call me a third generation Anglo-Indian. I think that's probably what my grandma would want me to say. So yeah, this is where I've come from.
Wonderful, wonderful. And uh, while your travels, you went straight to Nepal. Uh, and what is it that you sort of did there? Tell us how many days you spent there and what was the motivation behind what you did?
Yes, so I ended up spending around 5 weeks in Nepal. Now, kind of related to my career going forward, so I'm looking to join the army, and I will specifically want to join the British Gurkhas as an officer. So, of course, this will involve working with Nepali soldiers. So, I thought some experience in Nepal would be really useful. But also, on top of that, I had many Nepali friends back home, and after talking with them and learning more about the culture, I thought it's the perfect opportunity to go and experience something different.
Do you think it's this Anglo-Indian uh, sort of DNA that your grandmother would like to call it that has led to this choice of the regiment that you want to pursue your army career in future?
I think it definitely drove me in that direction because I think coming into my choice of career, I had no British military background, so I had no connection to regiments, and it was nice to find that small link with a regiment. Especially talking to my grandma from her time growing up in Naini, and she told me that there would be Gurkhas here all the time on security and working with the East India Company. So it was nice to have that connection, and then from that I grew to love the regiment, and now hopefully that's the route I would end up going down post training.
And have you had any other experience while in England in the army training? At this age, do they pursue young talent like you?
Yes, so I've been in the Army Reserves for two and a half years, which is effectively the part time army, I guess you could say. So whilst I was at university, I was part of the Officer Training Corps, which is there as an army unit to encourage people to then join as an officer after graduating from their degree. And I was the perfect product of this unit, I guess you could say, because I came into it with no military experience, and I've come out of it in love with the army, and this is my passion now, and I can't wait to start my training in a few months. So I've got that few years experience, but still very new to it all, so still learning on the job.
Yes, that's quite a jump from what you studied in college. I believe you did finance.
Yes, yeah.
So that is no way, it's not going to be figuring anywhere in the future.
No, no, I think at least, well, we'll see how the army goes. I may look into finance post military career, but I think for now I'll park the finance side of things. And
Ironically, both the career choices are very relevant in today's
mm,
times,
yes, yeah,
as we see how the world is shaping up,
yes,
with all countries sort of sprucing up their military bases,
mm,
and finance sort of being the key driver for all this,
yes,
uh,
definitely,
the global upheaval that we are facing.
yes.
So I think keep it up, keep both
Thank you. Yeah,
on the balance.
yes,
It would be nice. Tell me about your Nepal experience. How did you discover this school that you went to volunteer in,
yes.
and where was it?
So I applied through a volunteering company to basically spend some time in Pokhara and teach and live in a monastery. So I got to Nepal. I think at this point I was still very nervous and apprehensive. First time traveling on my own in a very different culture. So that was all very almost intimidating, I would say at first, but I had the right people around me to make it more comfortable. I lived with a local family and they were really welcoming. And then I spent 3 days in Kathmandu before moving to Pokhara, where I then stayed in a monastery for 4 to 5 weeks. And during this time, I would then teach the young monks English in the morning and then move over to a school. And then in that school, I would teach 4 to 5 classes a day.
And
And
what kind of teaching was this?
that was English as well.
I see.
Generally, the older years, they've been prepping for exams. So I was there to support their English and just fine tweak a few.
And what was your takeaway from this experience?
I think so. It's probably worth mentioning I came into this with zero teaching experience. So I think the first few days I was really found it quite challenging. Many of the children were great and wanted to study, and others needed a bit more encouragement. It's
Were
probably
they
the
happy to see this man who looked different
yes,
from
yeah,
them out
yeah.
of the blue, and what was it like for them?
I think they loved it. It was that was the main thing to take away from it. Is every time I would walk into the school, everyone was smiling and happy to see me, which was great. And I
And did you
think
pick up some Nepalese on the way?
oh, little puri.
But now that you want to join this regiment in future,
Yes.
uh, do you think it would be a good idea to pick up Nepalese?
Yeah, so if all goes to plan, you do actually take a language course before you go on to normal postings with the regiment.
Mhm.
So it's nice to have that foundation now, and then of course once you join, you then have the full course anyway,
Right,
which would give you
right,
a
right.
much stronger grasp of the language.
Yeah. So, I believe you also ventured into a wild adventure, which
Yes,
comes with your personality and with
yes,
your likes and choices that you're making in life, to
yes,
live life each day and to try out new things and experiences. And this particular one that you did was jumping off a cliff, which is
yes.
apparently the second highest
Second highest in the world.
in the
Yes,
world. So
yeah,
how was that?
yeah. It
Did you
was.
inform your folks back home, or
I tried to
that I'm
keep
doing
it.
it, that in case,
Yeah, I tried to keep it relatively quiet, just so that Mum wouldn't be too stressed at home. But yeah, no. So I think uh, on the weekends or well on Saturdays I was free from teaching, so I wanted to make the most of being in Nepal. And I like my adventures and doing things, that probably are slightly out of the ordinary, I guess. And one of the teachers from the school suggested this bungee, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to go and explore another part of Nepal, and also to do my first bungee jump. And my first bungee jump was the second highest in the world, so
my
that's
God,
quite
my
good
God.
to say.
Fantastic, fantastic. So tell me something. I mean, I'm noticing that at such an early age, you are doing things which a regular sort of college pass out will not really venture into. So obviously, you are much more aware and deeper, or a deep thinker. What is your uh, sort of daily routine like? What is it that you do when you wake up in the morning? Or, I mean, what is it that you follow? Are you strict about your do's and don'ts? Do you follow certain patterns, habits that you inculcate? Do you meditate? What is it that drives you every day?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely someone who thrives off routine. So I give myself that structure, and if I stick to that structure, I feel like I've had a productive day. And I think that's probably something that I've built through university and then coming out of university. And then also being in full time work before coming here, that definitely helped give me that structure. So yeah, I think daily there are very small minor tweaks that I've made over time. I think cold water exposure is a big one for me.
I see.
Cold showers is, I think that starts the day perfectly for me,
Hmm.
and I really believe in that.
Hmm.
Meditation less so, but I think I've spoken to many people who reap the benefits of that. And my partner, she swears by it, but it's one of those things that I've never really followed. But definitely general routine, and many times, well, most days I will sort of the evening before I will plan my day and write out my plan for the day, and that definitely helps.
Hmm. And you also went to the Annapurna base camp.
Yes,
Tell us about that. How was that?
yes. So that was another big selling point for spending some time in Nepal, was trying to get on one of these treks. So with the volunteering company and with some other volunteers who were out there at the time, we went along with two guides and completed the Anapona base camp trek. And this was 4 days to summit, or well, not summit, but to base camp, and then 2 days back down. So 6 days of walking. I think it was tougher than I expected. I think combination of altitude and walking basically up this kind of incline most of the time. But it was really good, and that was probably one of the highlights of this whole traveling experience. I think I love any kind of physical training, and that was the perfect opportunity to push myself. And also, we were very fortunate with the weather by the time we got to the top, so we had some beautiful views once we reached base camp, which we were very lucky.
Yeah. The Himalayas, you have had an opportunity to walk in the
Mm.
Himalayas, which is wonderful. And um, they are what they are, mesmerizing,
Mm.
mystical,
Yes,
always pulling you in. So, yeah, you've been really, I would say, lucky. And I'm sure there'll be many more chances for you to traverse the terrain in future.
I hope
And
so. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that trek has just
Yeah, and
made me
treks, I
want to
believe,
go
are
even
very
more.
transformative.
Yes.
Mentally, physically, clears your mind, your questions,
Mm.
um, the bulb just lights up,
Yes.
maybe a revelation.
Yeah, it's true.
So I hope that's happened to you in,
Yes,
in
yeah.
some ways, and
I'm sure it
and the
has.
Himalayas have given you something to take back and
Yes.
share back home in the UK. And now coming to our favorite place, which is our home, Nainital. You're here, which has been your grandmother's home, her birthplace.
Yes.
Um, Tell me, how has it been? You've been here now about five days,
Yes.
and how has Nainital treated you? What's it been your experience like from day one?
Yeah, it's been amazing really. I think the support I've had from the local community has been amazing. So many people have invited me into their homes and made me feel so welcome. I think I found it quite intimidating at first, because I think in many ways India can be very different to Nepal. But also that cultural experience from Nepal definitely helped me ease my way into India, Delhi, and then coming into Nainital. But yeah, Nainital has been incredible, and in many ways, I think it was similar to Pokhara, because you have the lake
Yes.
and you have everybody lives around the lake. So yeah, it was quite nice to see, I guess, this side of the Himalayas and how different it can be.
Yeah, will you tell me who were the key people who sort of opened, the treasure hunt for you while you were following the trail of your grandmother from her home to the school. Can you tell me
Yes,
about
yeah.
those people who sort of were your walking stick in some sense?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Probably more than a walking stick with the amount of support I've been given. But so I think initially I posted in the Nainital nostalgia group, and straight away so many people offering help. It was amazing. And then Dave Atkinson, the fountain of knowledge for Nainital, has been a great help. He's honestly planned the majority of my trip, which has
Yes, he
been
has. He has. Very
amazing.
meticulously, I must say.
Yes, yes, and I can't thank him enough for the efforts he's made and the connections he's made for me with different people like yourself and with St. Mary's and St. Joseph's. And then from there, I've made connections with people there, and then they've helped me even further. So he's been the root of this trip, and without him, a lot of this wouldn't have happened. So I'm very grateful for that.
Right. Did your mother also go to Ramney?
Yeah.
Your grandmother, I
My
mean.
grandmother, yes. So my grandmother studied there, and then she left India in her 20s, and then she hasn't been back since.
Oh, what a
So
pity.
I'm
What a
doing,
pity. I wish you could have got her back
I know, I wish I
with
could.
you.
Yes.
Can you do that?
I think now she's probably too old to make the journey.
I see.
But I'll do it in her place. This
And
is
any
forever.
stories from her before you came? Did she know you'll be visiting Nainital?
Yes,
So
yes.
any pre visit stories that she put in your planted the seed in your brain so that you could sort of visualize it when you are here.
Yes, I think she always emphasized the lake and said how beautiful the lake is, and she said you must go on a boat whilst you're here on a boating ride, and I'm happy to say I did that yesterday, so that was the perfect way to end the trip. And then she would mention Ramsey Hospital because this is where her father worked,
I see.
so I made sure to visit there. I think she always mentioned the nuns in Ramney and how she was probably quite scared most of the time.
Yes, all of us were.
Yeah, I think probably more scared of her sister Christine than anyone else.
Right.
She seems to have a reputation. Um, but yes, I think more than anything, she just was excited for me to come and very happy to hear that I'm making the journey.
Right. Overall, now that you've been traversing Nainital on foot, I've been noticing you've just been trekking around. What is the sense that you get of the town and the fringes of the town? What is the feeling that you get? Because you've come for the first time. What's the feeling you're going to take with you back home as Nainital? One is, of course, it's special because of your grandmother and the memories that she shared and the people who've made it special. But if we blank that out, what would you think objectively about the town?
Yeah, I think you can see how history is being preserved in so many places. I think coming from the schools, even from Abbotsford here, and many other buildings where you can see the British influence that would have been there at the time. And it's nice to make that connection and see so many connections between British history and Nainital. And that's nice to see. I think also in the Malital region, you can see how Indian tourism may have impacted the hill station over time, and it's definitely probably become a lot busier since my grandma was here.
Yes, yes,
And I think she'll be surprised to see the number of houses across the hills.
yes.
And
It's increasing every year
yes,
because our numbers are so large in our country,
yes, yeah,
and everybody wants a piece of the pie, and why not?
mm,
And Nainital is a destination which is beautiful, historic, culturally very rich, and there are few families like Gurney House, Nilanjana Dalmia's family, my family, Abbotsford, and couple of others who, as you said, have tried to keep the culture alive,
yeah,
the history alive. We welcome people to our homes and show them that side of Nainital, which we've grown up with, which is still, by God's grace, compared to other hill stations in India, is still alive.
yes, yeah,
And apart from, of course, the lake and the boating and the mall and the Tibetan market, there's so much more
yes,
in the outskirts, in the fringes of Nainital, which is really rich.
yes,
And I'm really glad that people from all over the world, for whatever reasons, they do come in here to see the Himalayas, to see our uh, beautiful 500 species of birds in this region, and people like you who make the journey all the way because of the nostalgia that your family shares with Nainital, and you are a link now
Yes.
for us for the future.
Yes.
So I'm sure your grandmother would be really, really, really happy
Mm.
and emotional,
Yes.
and that you're carrying on that relationship with the community of Nainital. So I hope it carries on, and all the best for your future endeavors. And may you come back with flying colors and with an army uniform next time that I see
I
you
will, yes.
here, and get your mother as well.
I'll bring her.
Yeah,
I will.
bring your mother. And all the best, Jack.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much for sharing this short but really important aspect of cataloging conversations in Abbotsford Dialogue. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.